Okay, so the pumpkin is now dried. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a bit of coloring. So each of my pumpkins, I've got 3. This one I'm going to make orange, just to show you the example. But it's going to be the same concept if you want to make it purple or pink or whatever color you choose to be your pumpkin. So Powertex has a varnish that I've just decanted into a little bottle. I like to use a container, meaning a little round bowl with the foil inside, because it seems to hold in the color a bit better for me than just putting it straight onto the foil without into a holder. It just keeps it going a little bit better. So putting some varnish inside there. I like to use my orange, so this is just Power Color Orange. Just going to do a couple of scoops. And then I always have a small brush that I mix with and a large brush to paint with. So my large brush is there and my smaller brush is to mix with. So a few scoops inside there, give it a good old mix. I like to have very, very strong colors. It's just me. You can have more subtle colors if you like, but just mix all that powder in. And you'll see as you mix if you need more coloring or not. Varnish dries clear, so if you see a bit of milkiness in the actual coloring, that will dry clear. So I like to add just a touch of white, just a teeny tiny touch of white. It just helps to pop the color for me a little bit better. So just a touch of white. Okay, and then probably another 1 or 2 scoops of orange just to get that nice deep orange color. And then I also have, this is Secret Art Love Tequila Sunrise. So it just gives a little bit of bling color. So I'll probably do about 2 or 3 scoops in here. Because it's a big piece, this is why I'm mixing in such a big quantity. I don't want to have to mix again. 9 times out of 10 I probably will have to mix again, but this should last me the majority of the pumpkin, hopefully. All the way down. Okay, so once that's done, I give my little brush a squeeze out. And then we're going to work with the big brush. So the reason why I do small brush first and then little brush, or little brush and then the larger brush, is because you've got 3 different colors. You don't want to distribute it all in your big brush. So one or 2 things you can do is you can dry brush, which is just dragging from the side, but I'm just going straight in. So I'm going straight in. I don't mind some of the brown still showing through in the background. It's actually quite nice. It gives beautiful highlights, but I'm just going to go for it all over. So little does go a long way. Try and stretch it with your brush. You'll see as it starts to dry a bit. Let it just go. Don't keep dipping and wasting. So dip again now. So I'm only dipping on the side of my container and then go in again. There's no stopping you going over again with orange if you feel that it hasn't reached the color that you want. But the first coat, try get it on all in one go, meaning that you don't have to make another mixture. So I'm going to get down to the bottom as well. Get all those teeth. Let's give him a good turn. So you'll see he's still plastic at the bottom, which is fine because he is made for outdoors initially. Plastic ones that you buy. Just want to get all around the edging so I don't have to worry about that anymore. You could get some of it on your hands, don't worry, it just washes off. But yeah, it dries really quick, so we don't want to take too long painting as well. Okay, let's get that side. I'm trying not to paint the mechanics there, so this little switch at the back here, try not to paint on it too much. It doesn't adhere to plastic, so if you do want to scrape it off the plastic, you can scrape the coloring off if you don't like it. Okay, it's going to get all the way around there. Spend some more time on the side. So remember when I said get your first coat on, and then you can go back and top up if you need to. So I haven't left too much of the brown exposed, and just touching up every now and then. Okay, so he's pretty much done. Then don't waste this. If you've got any left over, keep it for something else, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to fold it in half. Just put it to one side. Okay, brush needs to go in the water because it does harden, so make sure your brush is in the water. And then we'll do the stem. So you can either do the stem and leave it brown as it is. I like to add a bit of green to that. So we're going to grab some green. There you go. Get another piece of foil. Only because that one over there with the orange on, I need to use it just now. I'm going to grab a bit of a smaller brush, not teeny tiny. And then again, you need your varnish. So not too much, you're just doing the stem. And then how I do it is you can either scoop, or you can put your brush in the varnish and into the powder. But because it's a big mixture for me, I like to use a scoop. So I scoop one, give it a mix, see how I feel, and then scoop some more. For me, that's okay because I don't want it too bright. And I can always put some highlights of bronze gold on top, or some gold. So let's get that out the way. One or two things, if you don't want to go too harsh, just dry your brush off on your puppy pea pad just to dry it off a little bit. And then dragging it parallel is dry brushing. So dragging it parallel against the grains is what will get a little bit of color on. So I don't want too much. Like I said, I just want a teeny tiny bit just to highlight a little bit. I quite like the brown sticking through. So sporadically, I don't overthink it, I just go for it. Get a little bit down onto the pumpkin as well. Obviously, the more you paint at the top here, your brush dries off a little bit, so that's perfect for when you want to come onto the pumpkin a tiny bit, because you don't want too much green on there. You just want it blending into the orange of the pumpkin. Okay, let's get a bit more. Don't forget to go underneath the stem as well, so I will turn them upside down in a minute. So I'm going to get under there. Make sure I'm getting his stem as much as I want to. I'm just going to allow him on his side. Get under there. So don't forget to turn him upside down just to make sure you're getting under the stem, because you could miss it. Turn the other direction. Okay, that's about it. That's as much as I do on this pumpkin. But isn't he cool and effective? Let's see if the lights go on. I know they do work. You can barely see them, I think, just flashing there in the background. A little bit of flashing. But he is flashing, so he'll show up in the dark as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. Try to switch the light off. And I look forward to seeing what you do with your pumpkins. See you later. Bye.